Hey guys, it's Mrs. Bobby again, and this week is all about working conditions. You might be wondering, Mrs. Bobby, why do we need to know about this? It's 2020, not 1820. Insert eye roll here. While you're right that working conditions have come a long way in the last 200 years, they still aren't perfect. Let me explain. Let's start back when it all began. In 1790, the American Industrial Revolution began when Samuel Slater opened the first industrial mill. With advances in machinery, a faster cotton gin, a railroad system for easy transport, and an increased workforce due to the arrival of 14 million immigrants in the U.S. between 1860 and 1900, the very nature of daily work changed for the American people. Before the Industrial Revolution, most Americans worked for themselves at home, in a small shop or outdoors, crafting raw materials into products or growing a crop, from seed to table, aka farming. But the increase in factories and factory jobs brought many people to cities to join the industrial workforce. You may be thinking, this doesn't sound so bad. Well, let's take a little closer look. The work done in factories was often dangerous and performed in unsanitary conditions. One author, Upton Sinclair, found the unsanitary conditions of factories so appalling, aka gross, he wrote an entire novel about it. The Jungle, published in 1906, focused specifically on the meat industry. Unskilled immigrant men did the backbreaking and often dangerous work, laboring in dark and unventilated rooms, hot in the summer and unheated in the winter. Many stood all day on floors covered with blood, meat scraps, and foul water, wielding sledgehammers and knives. Women and children over 14 worked at meat trimming, sausage making, and canning. Most workers earned just pennies per hour and worked 10 hours per day, 6 days a week. So here we can see that early working conditions involved brutally long hours, unsafe environments, and low pay, not to mention children were allowed and even encouraged to work at ages as young as 5. So now you're probably thinking, but Miss Bobby, it's not like that now. How did things change? Good question. Working conditions only improved once people joined together to fight against the inequities, aka unfairness, that they were experiencing. That's where labor unions come in. A labor union is a group of workers who join together to ask their employers for better payment, working hours, and working conditions. While labor unions are very common today, unions did not always exist. Modern labor unions didn't appear in the United States until the late 1800s. One strategy labor unions use is called collective bargaining. Workers choose a few leaders to represent them in a meeting with a factory owner. In this meeting, everyone would agree to a new contract that gave workers shorter hours, higher pay, and safer working conditions. And if the factory owner did not agree to the contract, all the workers would strike or stop working until they got what they wanted. Many strikes occurred during the Industrial Revolution, and workers still go on strike today. Other strategies unions use to improve working conditions are giving benefits to union members, like paying a worker who gets hurt on the job, and working with the government to pass more laws on how businesses are allowed to operate, such as banning child labor and making factory inspections mandatory. Go ahead, ask. Then things are better today, right, Miss Bobby? Well, yes, things are better in America, but things aren't perfect. Many workers are still fighting for a livable wage, aka minimum wage that allows a person to live a normal lifestyle, like, affording a place to live and food to eat. Others are still fighting for equal pay. Like, did you know, as of 2018, on average, women still earned less than men? Specifically, women earned 85% of what men earned. That's 85 cents for every dollar that a man makes. So no, things aren't perfect, and maybe they never will be. But in a time like this, it's more important than ever for all people to band together and fight for a labor system that values, protects, and provides for its workers, rather than just profiting from them.
So guys, please join me this week in learning more about the history of labor unions, working conditions, and the unfair and unsafe treatment of workers that still occur around the world today.